Hi everyone, just before we start the episode, I'd just like for anyone who watches the show to comment and tell me what mods you'd like me to cover in future. Feels like I'm just doing the same stuff over and over, so I'd like you to try and get me out of my comfort zone and ask to see any mods that you're interested in. Also, I should state that I wasn't really clear in this episode that this is 3 mods, all under the same name, but it's enhanced lights and effects, and then enhanced lights and effects weather and exteriors. So today we're looking at enhanced lighting and effects, and obviously this is covering all the lighting and lighting effects in the game. I have disabled vivid weathers for this because it does have a weather mod in there that says that any weather mods that adds new weathers won't work so well, so I disabled that. And I have taken off all of my previous graphic mods and I'm using a new one which is just called Graphics Pack, which ties a lot of MRENs, Osmodius, bit of Smimlight in there, so that will be present in both the before and after. So while we're not really dealing with vanilla lighting in the before, we should still see a marked up improvement when we enable those enhanced lighting and effects. So let's jump straight in. Here we are at Whiterun. Again, this is the before shots and without vivid weathers, so we're using vanilla weather here, but the textures and stuff like that are not vanilla. And then we bring in the enhanced lighting and you can see that is a big improvement in terms of lighting. And one of the things you're going to notice is if there's no light source, then there is no light, which means the wilderness is very, very dark indeed, which we'll get a little glimpse at later on in the video. But for the time being, we're going to look at the cities because this is where we're going to see all those lovely lighting effects come into play. And there you go. So one of the things the mod does is it changes the drop off for how far the light is visible. So you'll notice the castle, the city wall in the background there. You can see a couple of blooms of light, and down into the little market square. I would say that the fall off from that light seems very sudden. If you're not stood directly under some of the light sources, then it feels like there's little to no light at all in the scene. But we'll talk about that a bit more as we go on. The mod does work to great effect though in locations like this. The fire, any raw fire like a torch or a brazier or that smith forge there, as you can see, which is actually burning somebody's body at the moment, gives off a lot of light, but lanterns and wall sconces not so much. Shut up, I'm doing a video, little girl. As we'll see now as we bring in the enhanced lighting and effects on Solitude, there you can see the lanterns do seem kind of dim. This is a very dark mod. It may be too much for some people. I personally found it very difficult navigating some wilderness areas, but that is all down to the fact that the weather system also affects the light. So if it's a cloudy day, the light is dimmer, and if it's a cloudy night, then the moons are covered. There's almost no light at all cast in the wilderness. So torches and lanterns are necessary. And there we go. Very nice indeed. One of the things the mod does say is that the windows now emit light, which you can kind of see there, but apparently it's meant to do like a multi-layer thing where you can kind of see a bit of depth in, like maybe see the curtains behind the window and that. Haven't really noticed anything like that, but it certainly does look very nice as it is. And here we are in Riften, and you are going to take a big frame rate hit in Riften, more so than usual, so that puts us down to about 7 frames per second in Riften. But there you go, you can see that the sunlight is actually bouncing off that fog, and as the weather systems are identical in both of the before and after, so you can see there's a marked improvement there on the vanilla game. And here again, we've got that light fog in the area, and when we bring the mod on in a moment, you're going to see the sun bloom just over that building there where the church is. And there you go, the sun is much brighter on the new mod. So each area, or city sorry, also has its own lighting pattern to do with its local weather. One of the things I forgot to mention when we seen the Solitude one was that it did have a more greeny hue to it because of the aurora that was overhead. So each city does kind of have a very slightly different colour palette, which you can see reflected here. It makes Riften look very murky and run down, which it's supposed to, because it is supposed to be a seaside city that is rife with corruption and that type of thing. So we see that reflected in the colour palette. As we move on, we are now at Windhelm, and we can see the graphics pack there is does look very nice by itself. We've got the smoke coming off the braziers, which the mod also does add in, but obviously the graphics pack has that as well. But it does not have that absolute excellent atmospheric lighting on the fog that the mod brings in. So we're getting the nice sunrise sun, and it's just got illuminating all that fog with a nice golden hue. And here we are from a slightly different angle at night time, so you can get an idea of what it looks like. And again, there is a marked improvement there. Again, these are all the same textures, same weather systems on both the before and after. The only thing that is changing is the lighting, and you can see how dramatic of an effect a good lighting system can have on a game. Interiors also reflect the outside light or time of day a bit better. This is just around sunset, I think. So if you watch the shadows on the floor, you're going to notice that the light coming in through the window actually alters the shadows on the inside, because it's bouncing off the window frames and stuff like that, a bit more realistic, and also the shadow coming away from those chair legs. And now we're going to see just how dark the night does get. This obviously looks very nice, very bright, but when we bring the mod in, boom, just almost absolute bleak blackness. You'll notice though that the wall sconces do give off a very nice golden hue, and also the smelter in the background gives off a light source as well. Anything that actually does give off a light source in this mod does give off a light source, if that makes sense. There's a nice bloom on the smelter as well. We're in the basement here of Lakeview Manor, and the only change we got really when we brought the mod in there was a bit more yellows and reds into the saturation. I was a little disappointed because the lighting in the basement of the custom houses is terrible, and it didn't really improve it. We're going to see some custom shadow work here now. So as you can see, just in front of the statue there, we've got a nice blue archmage light or fire, whatever it's supposed to be. But when we bring in the mod, you'll notice now that the statue casts a shadow against the College of Winterhold, which is very nice indeed. And this is just a little shot of Winterhold itself. I did have a few problems here with a couple of crashes, but I have heavily modded this area recently because I was going to do an episode on the different types of mods you could put for this town, but none of them were really worthy of their own episode. So I lost me footage of the after, so it's just a quick run through so you can see how nice it looks with the mod. And here we are on the Archmage quarters. Looks very impressive as it is. When I was editing the video together, I didn't think there was actually going to be a change between the before and after, but I was wrong, because now you can see that each of the sconce braziers are giving off a nice little pool of light around them, which does drop off quite quickly, casting shadows about, and obviously the colours themselves are warmer and a bit more realistic. It is really impressive how much better the game looks with just an improved lighting system. And we're in Markarth here, one of my favourite cities, purely for doing videos because it always looks fantastic. When we bring the mod in, you can see that it does look brilliant, but again, it is a very dark city. As I said at the beginning of the video, if there is no light source, then there's no light. There's no artificial light put into this mod at all. So any areas where the mods might have just put in a brighter area because it was too dark has been completely removed for this one. As you can see, this is nighttime, but it's still very bright. I did up my brightness a bit on the after footage so that you could see a bit more. I kept that brightness enabled for the before shots as well, just so that we could get a fair comparison between the two. And there you go. Again, that looks absolutely fantastic. Just looking across the little river there at the entrance to the mines, the Signa mines, is it, or is that the jail? I'm not too sure. It's fantastic. And again, here we are just at sunrise looking down into the market square. And when we bring the mod in, we get much deeper colours, a lot nicer shaders and stuff like that around all the braziers and stuff like that. And again, all that atmospheric fog there is illuminated by the rising sun. This is one of my favourite comparisons. This area is just outside Falkreath, and you've probably seen it in a few of my previous videos because it always looks great. And again, that atmospheric fog lighting there looks brilliant, but when we bring the mod in, bang, look at that, so much more nicer, deeper colours. It looks just so much more realistic. And if you look at the trees just to the left there, those branches look almost real to me. But there is a slight blaring issue, I think, either in this town or on fog weather itself, because when we bring in the mod, you can see it looks very hazy, almost dreamlike. There's definitely a blaring effect there, which I didn't notice in any of the other foggy weathers, so maybe it is just specific to Falkreath, but I do really like it either way. And our final shot of Falkreath here, again, just makes it look so much more nicer. This is a fantastic mod. I'm going to keep it on. It is relatively big, just clocking in at under 500 megabytes, I think, or just under 600. I'm not too sure. That is a lot of space to dedicate to a lighting mod, but I personally feel like it's worth it. And I've got a little bonus footage here of the sun rising in real time, and you can see the colours are going to start turning nice golden yellow as that sun does rise over the lake. And of course it has to be marred by a dragon attack, which I've left in here just so you can see how bright the bloom can get in some areas. It doesn't look so bad here, and there is a lot of lighting, but there you can see the bloom just really does get overwhelming sometimes. There are a couple of effects in play there while you're doing the dragon shout that does make it seem a lot bigger than usual, a lot brighter than usual, sorry, but on some of the bare fires that you see, especially the one in your home in Whiterun, does have a very, very bright bloom, and there is no way to alter the settings or anything like that, or to bring the lightness up at the night time, so you just have to kind of deal with those things. There is another mod actually to make it even darker, which I think is crazy. I wouldn't even go near that, but you know, it does. I think it does call itself hardcore, so there is that. There was a couple of things which I wasn't really able to capture. Apparently tents are a bit more translucent, so you can see light sources through them, and on market stalls as well. I tried to get footage of that, and for some reason it just didn't seem to be working for me. Also, the weather version of this mod does add in heavy rainstorms and snowstorms. It says they rarely happen. I couldn't get it to trigger, so sorry, I haven't got footage of that. Also, ice enemies and certain water cells do have something called caustic lighting on them. I'm not sure what that is. I actually use realistic water too, so that might have had some effect on it, but again, I wasn't able to capture any of that, sorry. Load of order for this one, really easy. I just put it right at the top, just above my graphics mods. As I said, I am using the graphics pack 1, 2, 3 and 4, which appeared on the store the other day. And so I won't be doing a video on that because it is just previous packs that we've covered all mashed together, but I would recommend it. It does seem okay for the time being. As I said, I did get a couple of crashes in Winterhold. I did get it to work in the end. I think it's because I've applied a Magical College of Winterhold mod on there, and Windhelm, I forgot what it's called now, I've said it that many times. Winterhold Reborn or Rebuilt or something like that. Both nice mods for what they do, but they did cause a few issues for me, so I took them off. Maybe it was some residual code in there which was causing the game to crash a couple of times, but watch out for that just in case. I would go straight to Winterhold if you try this mod out and see if everything works fine there for you. But thanks for watching. As I said at the beginning of the video, I would really appreciate it if you guys could start requesting mods. You don't have to get loads of people agreeing with you or anything like that. You could literally, you could be one person suggesting a mod, and if I like the look at it, I will do a video on it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.